authority do you have na para pigilan ang sinumang OFW sa Italy na magsalita sa media or else hindi sila makatanggap ng ayuda sa gobyerno? That's against
Hindi
the
naman
law.
po natin sinabing
So,
ganun, Your
Hindi,
Honor.
parang ganun po eh. Something to
Ganun po yung intindi nila,
Opo.
pero hindi po ganun. Yung sinabi lang namin is we have to make sure we're spending government funds.
Kaya nga po eh.
Case.
Kaya nga po. But they have to sign this
No, sir,
form.
hindi na po na tinuloy yan, Your Honor.
Correct. Sana po, tinanggal nyo na itong number 2, media restrictions.
Yun yung condition ng lawyer.
Lawyer
So
na.
kahit hindi po natin,
Kaninong lawyer po?
yung lawyer po natin, yung Italian lawyer natin, si Attorney Bruno De Blasi,
Okay.
when we hired him, because siya po yung napili
So,
ng
kung
ating mga complainants.
kung wala kayong ginagawang masama, kung wala kayong agrabyado, eh bakit po kayo matatakot sa
Hindi
media?
po ako natatakot,
Yung
Your Honor.
yung media naman po, isusulat lang kung ano talaga yung
Unfortunately, Your Honor, it's not like that. That's why I had to file a cyber libel case against the Tribune. It's because of the distorted reporting that they have been doing regarding this case.
Okay. So, ilan po yung sinampang mo ng kaso?
94 cases, Your Honor, of aggravated fraud filed before the Office of the Public Prosecutor in Milan.
Eh bakit hindi po yung media ang sampahan nyo? Bakit po yung mga victims?
Sila yung
Kasi it's not fair. Victim na nga po, tapos ngayon sasaktan na masakit na becoming a victim is really very painful and
Yes, sir, we
stressful.
understand that.
And then dadagdagan nyo pa po yung stress na sasampahan nyo silang kaso.
But I'm
Now,
also a
dapat
victim
po, ang
here.
una yung sampahan ng Sir, excuse me. Ang una nyo dapat sampahan ng kaso, yung media.
Yes, sir, kaya may cyber libel case. As I mentioned in our last hearing, I promised to withdraw the complaint against our 3 victims,
Ayun,
provided
yun na po.
provided they submit their sworn statement stating that they did not say that I was negligent, that I failed to act on their complaints, because they were never there in Italy, sir, to file complaints and raise this before me as what is being published by the Tribune. Tanungin niyo po sila kung nagkita po kami, kung hindi ko po sila nasikaso. Dahil hindi ko po sila nakita dun. How could they say that I sat on their complaints when they never submitted their complaints to me in the first place? So yun po yung medyo naging issue dyan, Your Honor.
So, ibig sabihin, sir, pinaparitak nyo sa mga complainants o itong mga sinampahan nyo ng kaso yung kanilang mga previous statements?
Yun po rin yung sinabi nila sa akin. As I've said in the last hearing, I was able to talk to Ms. Cabasis, and she told me that what was quoted in the Tribune was something she never said.
Si Miss Cabasis?
Good afternoon po, Your Honor. Tulad po ng sinabi ko nung nakaraang hearing, naging messenger lang po kami. Kung may sinabi man po kami sa Tribune, yun po ay saloobin namin at saloobin po ng mga biktima sa Milan po.
So, meron kayong sinabi sa Tribune?
Sinabi po namin yung saloobin po ng mga nasa Milan po. Ang saloobin po namin bilang biktima po.
So, what's wrong with that, Mr. Cato?
No, Mr.
Binugalan nilang
Chair,
talubin nila sa...
what she was telling me was, yung nakakote po sa Tribune, complainants Cabasis, Catillo, and Antonio said Consul General Cato was negligent. Sinasabi naman po niya sa akin, hindi po niya sinabi yun. So was she misquoted? Was the statement misattributed? Only they can tell us that, Your Honor.
Sinabi niyo ba yun, ma'am?
May article po
Ma'am.
ba na nakalagay na sinabi namin
Yes,
po
there are 2 articles where their names were stated. Kasama po sa exhibit yan doon sa complaint na final ko before the Angeles.
So, there were 2 articles stating that
Their names were there, Your Honor. Kaya po, nadamay sila doon. And for us to be able to get to the bottom of the truth, we need their cooperation as well. So if they promise to tell the truth, if they issue that sworn statement based on what she told me, then I will withdraw the complaint against them.
okay, Ma'am Apple, naintindihan niyo po yung sinasabi niya?
Yes,
Kasi
Your Honor.
nakalagay daw doon sa article yung pangalan ninyo na bilang source doon sa mga allegations against Mr. Cato.
Your Honor, wala pa po kaming kopya ng complaint, so hindi ko pa po masasagot. Pero kung ang sinasabi po ni Conjen, tulad po ng sinabi ko po nung nakaraang hearing, naging messenger lang po ako.
Yung nga sinasabi, don't shoot the messenger, sabi nga nila.
Kaya messenger po
Pero
yun.
Mr. Cato, meron naman kayo lawyer, tapos nag-promise ako I will help you, ano?
Okay.
With a lawyer. Ang gusto ko lang malaman right now, kung nabasa niyo pong article ng Tribune.
Based on complaints of people who we never met. So maybe, Mr. Senator, Mr. Chair, it could help if they could present the alleged complainants that they have been saying that I sat on their complaints.
First things first na lang po, Mr. Chair, kung maaari yung kopya ng complaint ng Conjen kina Miss Apple. Salamat po.
Po yung sa binanggit po kami 3.
Okay?
Tulad nga po ng
So
sinabi
tama ho ba ang pagkabanggit sa inyo ng Tribune.
Honors, good afternoon, if I may. I am Attorney Crisel Cancino, Your Honor. We are representing Ms. Apple Cabasis in the illegal recruitment case that she filed before the DOJ against Alpha Asistenza and Crisel Respicio. And as a matter of fact, Your Honor, we are likewise acting as her counsel in the cyber libel case that was filed against her by Congen Cato. Insofar as her statements are concerned regarding the article written by Daily Tribune, Your Honor, she would just like to manifest, Your Honor, that whatever statements or expressions that she made were just basically expressions of the victim's frustration and disappointment regarding the actions taken by the Consul General or the other responsible officers, Your Honor, regarding their complaints, Your Honor. There was never a malice intended regarding these statements, Your Honor. It is just a mere expression, again, of their frustration and disappointment regarding the actions taken by the responsible officers, Your Honor.
I understand.
Thank you, Your
So,
Honor.
bilang counsel, attorney, Crisel,
Yes,
ni
Your Honor.
Apple, pumapayag ka ba doon sa request ni El Mercato na siya ay mag-issue ng desistance as long as sasabihin niya, she will issue sworn statement na hindi galing sa kanya yung source, hindi siya yung source doon sa sinulat sa Tribune.
Your Honor, please, gaya nga po na nasabi ni Ms. Apple, hindi pa ho kasi namin nababasa
Okay.
yung complaint. So kung maaari ho sana is mabigyan po muna kami ng opportunity na mabasa po muna yung complaint para po makita po namin kung ano po yung charges laban po sa mga clients po namin.
Yes, not
Thank you,
only the complaints as well as to
As well as
all
the
other
attachments.
articles
Yes, Your
na
Honor.
kung saan nabanggit yung pangalan ni Ms. Apple, you have to study it and then
Yes,
advise Apple. Like I said earlier sa hearing natin, tutulong po ako
Yes.
sa legal assistance na ibibigay, even if it means legal assistance fund. I will,
Thank
even
you, Your Honor.
providing a lawyer.
And the victims, Your Honor, Ms. Apple, Ms. Vanessa, and Mr. Enrique Catilo would like to extend their warmest appreciation for this public service, Your Honor. Dahil nga po nahirapan na nga po sila sa nangyari nila, sa sinapit po nila. Tapos meron pa ho itong dagdag na kaso na kinakaharap pa ho nila.
Yun nga po
Maraming
sinasabi ko very stressful na po yung ikaw ay maging victim, yung iba na i-depress na sa sobrang pag-aalala, sama ng loob, and then ito another sama ng loob darating, sila ay madidimanda, nandun yung fear na sila ay makukulong, bukod pa sa abala bago yung sila ay masintensyan kung sila ay ma-guilty, especially Mr. Cato, may position po siya sa gobyerno. So nakikita ko po talaga yung ano ng mga victim, yung dinaranas ng victim.
As I've said in the first hearing, the prefect is the highest ranking federal government official in Milan. Nag-request po ako and they scheduled me for September 4. That same evening, in our virtual town hall meeting with the Filipino community, I discussed ito pong cases na to, where I advise our kababayan to make sure that any document that they sign, basahin po muna nila bago nila pirmahan. And I also address those involved, mga agencies and individuals, na siguraduhin rin po nila na explain nilang mabuti sa ating mga kababayan ano yung pinipirmahan nila para may iwasan yung mga ganong problema. So in the next few days, may mga complainants po dumarating. We issued several advisories urging other complainants in Milan to come forward. September 7 po, in-interview po ako ng usapang OFW ng Daily Tribune, kung saan ko po diniscuss. Possibly about 10 minutes was spent discussing the issue. We discussed what the problem was. We discussed what the steps that were being taken by the consulate in cooperation with the Migrant Workers Office, with OWA, and also with the Filipino community. So yun po yung mga actions na ginawa natin. And August 31 po, when we first reported the investigation that we were undertaking to the Department of Foreign Affairs. In that first report, we already recommended the hiring of a lawyer because dun sa assessment po natin, based on what the witnesses were telling us, almost 400 po daw yung victim. So we said, kailangan po ng abogado rito to represent them. Kaya yun po, after 4 weeks, in-approve po, in-endorse po ni Undersecretary De Vega yung recommendation po ng konsulado at in-approve naman po ito ni Secretary Enrique Manalo, yung side doon sa Decreto Flusi. So sila po yung tumanggap ng pera mula sa mga complainants dito sa Pilipinas. So hindi ko po masasabi kung 400 nga po ba dahil sa bilang namin it's only more than 200.
At yung una niyong binanggit na petsa, 31 July 2023, yun yung unang nabalitaan niyo ang reklamo ng ating mga kababayan.
Yun po yung first complainant under the Decreto Flusi program. February po, may nag-submit po ng information sa amin about Alpha Assistenza, but unfortunately wala pong complainant na gustong mag-file ng complaint either sa consulate or with authorities. During that time po, yung policy po ng konsulado was the same recommendation made by Yusek de Vega, hands off. Hands off po yung konsulado dahil patronato po yan. So ginawa po namin doon was just to send a letter telling the informants to advise the complainants to go to Italian authorities and file the complaints because sila po yung may jurisdiction dito, hindi po tayo.
So mula po Pebrero 2023, nung una kayong nakatanggap ng impormasyon tungkol sa ganitong mga violations ng Alpha Assistenza, 5 months later, July, bago may complainant na lumapit.
Under the Decreto Flusi program.
Under the Decreto Flusi program.
Pero as I've said in the last hearing, Madam Senator, the reports triggered discussions within the consulate. Tinanong ko nga po, bakit ganito yung ating position dito? Niloloko yung ating mga kababayan at tataas ng mga singil. Ganoon na lang ba papasa na lang ba natin sa Italian authorities? Wala ba tayong gagawin? Kaya po, as I've said in the last hearing, we decided to engage the other patronatos so that we could convince them. Sabi ko nga po, wala po sila under our jurisdiction. They're Italian registered entities. So pwede lang po natin gawin dyan is kausapin sila na kung pwede, babae nyo yung rates nyo, walang lokohan. And as I've said also in the last hearing, this resulted in the formation of the Filipino Chamber of Commerce.
So it was the Office of the Prefect of Milan na unang nakapagsabi, peke yung mga nula
Sila
osta
po
na
yung
yan.
nag-validate na fake po yung mga because the consulate is not in a position to say whether those documents were fake or not.
I understand, Conjen. So, Marso nagsimula mangyari yung scam sa alam ko rin po,
March po yung
for the record,
pag-file.
Conjen. Oh,
March po yung tawag nilang click day.
Yes,
That's when you
yes.
file the applications.
ano po?
So wala pong makikitang scam dyan.
Mm.
Madidetermine lang po yan after a few months.
I was just stating for the record, Mr. Chair, na sa pagkaalam ko po at ng opisina ko, bandang March last year, nagsimula yung mangyari yung scam na ito at mukhang nagpapatuloy pa ata hanggang ngayon. Kaya nga, naghahanap tayo ng solusyon. At this point, Mr. Chair, I'd just like to ask our victim survivors, ano pong mga reaction nyo dun sa timeline na isinalaysay ni Conjen, timeline nung unang lumalabas yung mga reklamo tungkol sa Alpha Assistenza bandang Pebrero nakaraang taon hanggang lumapit yung unang complainant July nakaraang taon at nakapagsimulang tumugon ang Office of the Congen sa mga complainants na yon.
Ang inalahad po ni Consul Cato, hindi ko po masasabi kung ano po.
Okay.
Or meron ba sa mga victim survivors natin na nandito sa Pilipinas na may feedback mula sa mga kamag-anak or kaibigan or kakilala na naging biktima ng Alpha Assistenza sa Italy na or sa Milan in particular simula Marso nung nakaraang taon. Kung meron mang silang naikwento sa inyo na maaring feedback pang-validate o pagbigay ng iba pang facts dun sa sinalaysay ni Conjen na timeline ng mga pangyayari.
Ayun lang po yung sinabi nila na August last week nga daw po nag-report na sila. And nung nagpa-Daily Tribune kami, may mga nababasa pa kami sa group chat na para naman daw pong walang nangyayari. So siguro nagkulang po si Conjen sa pakikipag-usap sa mga biktima. Kasi ang kwento po ng iba pag pumupunta sila, secretary lang yung nakakausap. Kaya hindi rin po sila, actually nung nagpa-media po kami, halos biktima po sa Milan na nag-push po sa amin. Wala na daw pong pag-asa. Wala daw po silang makitang pag-asa.
So August po dumating sa inyo yung ganyang mga feedback na parang walang nangyayari at secretary lang nakakausap sa
Opo, September po
konsulado.
namin nababasa. September po namin yung nababasa sa mga group chat po.
Okay, so August or
Madam Chair, can
September.
I react?
Opo.
Salamat Mr. Chair.
Excuse me. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Cato.
Pwede po malaman kay Miss Apple kung sino po yung nagsasabing hindi po namin inasikaso. Kailangan po may names po tayo kasi hindi po natin malalaman yung totoo dito kung sino po yung mga complainants. Are these real people or are these
No,
those
yung
complainants?
sinasabi niya po, tuwing pupunta sila sa tanggapan ninyo, never niya kayong nakausap ng mga complainant, palagi secretary ninyo.
Hindi po totoo yan. Ako po mismo yung humarap sa mga complainants when they first arrived. And I also met personally the other complainants who came in. They're constantly updated. Hindi lang po namin pwedeng sabihin yung ongoing investigation natin sa kanila. But we constantly notify them of what's
Sir, kung
going on.
nakakausap niyo po siya, si Miss Apple, so sana hindi na siya pumunta sa media. Ba't pa siya pupunta sa media kung nakakausap na kayo?
Hindi ko po alam. Sino pong nagpapunta sa kanila sa media ay dapat po natin itanong. Dahil sabi ko po kanina, Mr. Chairman, I was interviewed by the Tribune September 7. And I disclosed the investigation that we were
Okay.
doing.
Sige po.
I disclosed the steps that we were taking, but yet they did not include that in their reporting.
Okay, Miss
May
Apple,
interview rin po sila, Your Honor. May interview rin po ang usapang OFW, where one of the complainants said, contrary to what the previous speaker was saying, Conjen, actually, inasikaso po kami. Inupuan po kami ni Conjen, naghintay lang kami ng ilang oras dahil galing siya sa malayo, pero umupo pa siya doon. And sinabi pa po niya, and it's in the case I filed, that siguro po natulungan ng konsulata mga 200. So kaya po, I don't know why.
Sandali po, sino po itong
Si
nagsasabi
Merlinda Untalan po.
natulungan niyo sila?
And Merlinda Untalan was one of the complainants. She was interviewed by Usapang OFW. Now, what really bothers me is that the accusations that I did not act come from people without names. And they never specified what kind of inaction we did. Never po nila, ba sinabi, inupuan lang po. Walang details. So yun po yung gusto namin malaman para kung nagkulang man po kami, malalaman namin at ma-address po namin yan.
Okay, Mr. Cato, maaari totoo nga po na kayo po ay nakakausap ng ilang mga complainants sa inyong tanggapan. It doesn't mean na itong si Miss Apple nagsisinungaling. Kung talagang hindi niya kayo naabutan tuwing pupunta siya, then that's probably is a fact.
The only way to do that, Your Honor, is for them to produce that person.